So we're back. Chapter 2 of the Religion Chronicles.
Mm-hmm. Chapter
Deceit
2.
and Lies.
Yes. Big part.
Would you like to start this off or?
I'll start this off.
Perfect.
Deceit and lies. This is when we started to realize that religion doesn't make people perfect. If anything, it made us kind of awake. It started to help us realize who was real and who was not. And what we realized going to church after the whole taking Corey away from us, taking, pretty much abusing that kind of like, being a girl, trying to, like crushes and then trying to have relationships in church and stuff like that. Weird things. Like I was 16, she was 21, and then so far so go.
And that can't be overstated.
Yeah.
Like that's creepy. That's
it's creepy.
behavior.
It's creepy. You don't like Steven said before. You don't realize it when you're 16. You
because
think it's so cool.
It's so cool.
But then you realize it as like a child. Like as an adult, you realize that it's not cool at all. So we started to realize that not everyone is innocent in this church. We started to realize everyone has kind of like a plan. And everyone is seeing us, the two black sheeps, I would say, as victims. Like, I feel like the whole time they saw us as like this advantage they could take of us. They're like, all right, these guys come in and then we'll exploit them and we'll show them our way and then we'll convert them into who we are. Yeah. And I feel like that's what they were trying to do. And I started to realize that these are the same people who were cursing way more than us, who were way more corrupt than Stephen and I ever thought we were to begin with before religion, who have way more mental issues and mental problems. And behind the curtains of church, we're doing way worse than anyone we ever knew.
And I'm not here to compare struggles. Obviously, everyone goes through their things. The thing that bothered me, the thing that really just changed the way I saw things, it was these people who we began to become very close to had this almost uncanny habit of being flawed people. Being able to admit they were flawed people selectively, but then around other people playing the moral high ground. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it felt weird to me. It felt weird to know that, okay, nobody here is perfect. But then an outsider comes in, someone who's not a Christian, and all of a sudden everyone who's Christian is like, God, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and your sole purpose is to make this person feel inferior for also not having it figured out.
This was back when the church moved to closer to
Southern Boulevard.
No, this is after. This is after.
Yeah.
They moved towards Morris.
That's when I met Angelica.
Yeah, there you go. This is when they moved towards Port Morris.
Yeah.
Close by 17 bus, almost towards past Yankee Stadium. So yeah, this is when you met Angelica. I remember her.
Dun dun
dun dun. I actually forgot about her.
I forgot about her.
Yeah, now I see her face. It's like right there. So this is when Steven and I started to go less and less to church because we started to see the hypocrisy, which was a song that we were writing on at the time.
St. Judas?
St. Judas.
Oh, St. Judas.
And it was because listen to me. It's a popular song.
Not at all. Not at all. It's just a song we wrote.
But yeah, we started to realize that these people, these youth kids, it was the youth that we saw it in mostly. I feel like in my case it was the youth, the people who we surrounded ourselves with mostly. Right. We surrounded ourselves, and we used to see them like totally act so fucking innocent, so crazy, sinless, I would say, when it came to the adults, when it came to service. Yeah. But when service was done, and when it came behind closed curtains, they were terrible people, I would say.
And I won't even say terrible people. I won't say that. What I will say is they were regular people. They were human. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with flawed people. I think it's a really big problem when you're flawed, acting like you're not, acting like you're holier than thou, and then creating feelings of self-doubt and worry in another person because they can't stack up to this image that you yourself aren't stacking up to.
That's why I say they're terrible people, because they expected us. They didn't expect us. They expected us to see them as a holier person. Yeah. But we, Steven and I, mirrors Earl Grey, but before we were just Steven and Josh. We saw them as what they were. People, normal as people, who were trying to portray this Jesus-like figure, this kind of like this Holy Spirit, that they read the Bible back and forth, and they know more than us. When in fact they were just teenagers, just like us. They were sinning almost as much as us, and
more in some cases.
Yeah, and more in some cases, and they were making us feel bad for doing what we were doing, which is being teenagers. Right. Steve and I literally just being guys. I think this is when you started getting into relationships with Angelica at the time. Yeah. And they didn't like that. I don't think they liked that at all.
Oh, no.
Like, she was the new girl.
She was the new girl in church. I don't think they thought that my liking her was, like, pure enough. Like, I think they thought, like, I wanted to fuck her.
Yeah.
I did. But
teenagers always wanna.
But teenagers wanna fuck. Like you gotta talk to them about. Like, you don't make people feel bad for their urges. And then what bothered me is that, like, while I'm trying to make it seem like I'm impure, fucking pastors' daughters were trying to fuck too. Not me. No. But, like, Lindsay was trying to fuck Corey all the time and shit. They were doing the wild stuff. And I'm over here. I didn't do no wild stuff.
I remember that Michelle was actually trying to flirt with me countless of times at that time. Yeah. Leading people on. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like that shit at all.
I didn't like that shit.
I didn't like being led on.
My point is, I say that to say hypocrisy. There's a reason why the church, like, you know, we just finished talking up the church, I guess. And we're giving you both sides in this podcast. Mm-hmm. The church can be a source of light for those in darkness.
Exactly.
But for those trying to mask their darkness, it's very easy to mask your darkness if you're standing in a place that's supposed to be luminous.
Exactly. It's easy to believe you're pure of sin
if you keep telling yourself. If you go for 2 hours every Sunday.
Yeah, if you go 2 hours, if you hide behind a cross.
If every Sunday and I guess Friday youth, you're going for 2 hours, I guess 4 hours a week, and you're telling yourself, I am a good person, I am holy, I am this and that, and you're gonna believe it, I guess. Of course.
But isn't this a thing between going to church on a Sunday and actually living it, practicing it?
The problem is that not the problem. Like, we were trying to live it. Like, we really were.
We were trying to practice, live it. We had a whole Christian band going on called Saved.
I shit you not. We used to, like, talk to each other about, like, how we prevented from masturbating.
Literally, yeah.
Like,
and how we were practicing abstinence.
Yeah.
That was a thing, guys. You think it was funny, but we were literally talking about practicing
like,
abstinence.
yo, bro, I was about to jerk off this one day, but I was like, nah. And I started reading the Bible.
Yo,
like,
exactly.
I legit lost conversations.
Yeah, I lost my virginity at 17 years old.
I lost my virginity at 15.
I'm just saying, it could have been earlier.
Yeah.
I just practiced.
I lost my virginity before church, that's why.
Yeah.
But still, I was out here with scout gear.
Yeah, just trying to be...
Just, like, genuinely, like, I'm being told, hey, you have to be free of sin. You have to be like Christ. That's what Christian means.
Exactly. Being like Christ.
Christ.
What would Jesus do?
Jesus do?
That was the biggest thing.
That was the thing, yeah. And I held that to heart. And then I was at home trying to be a model to my family. And my family's kind of like making fun of me. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to curse. And my family's like cursing up a storm and shit. I'm like, no, I can't say fuck. Because the Lord won't forgive me.
Yeah.
And then I look and I'm watching these people who are like supposed to be my mentors, who are supposed to be my spiritual guides. And they're lying.
Yeah.
Like, they're lying.
They're worse than us.
Yeah.
Like, we thought we were terrible people in the eyes of them. Like, we were like, oh, man, I wish I could just be like them. And we started realizing, like, whoa, what's going on? And why are they that way? And
another thing that bothered me and I couldn't reconcile, like I said, I have a weird family history. And at one point I was going to church, and at this point I'm dating Destiny. Mm-hmm. And Destiny is is Corey's sister.
My cousin.
Josh's cousin.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog.
Dirty Dan over here.
Dirty Dan. Because, like, thinking about it, I dated your cousin, but then I also dated Ricky's sister.
Yeah, Dirty Dan.
I'm a dirty dog.
Yeah, Dirty Dan. You were a teenager.
I was hormones.
You were 17.
Hormones.
16.
Yeah. Also, like, with Destiny, I had known her since I was 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she was, like, the first girl I had, like, a crush on, you know? So, that's the point. Point being, my mom and my sister at the time get into like a physical altercation, and my mom is in prison and my sister's in the hospital, and it's really like wild. And I'm like talking to the church people, and I'm like, yo, what do I do? And they're like, yo, just pray on it. God will take care of it. And I'm just like, nah. That. And I'm like, no, that's not enough. I need to do something. They're like, nah, just pray on it. I'm like, nah, I can't just sit. And that was like a real problem with me with the churches. Like they
just wanted you to just leave it in nothing. God's hands.
Yeah, they just want you to do nothing and just it's gonna work itself out.
I feel like if you did so much
worse. Like, bro, it was getting to the point where ACS was gonna come in and tear my family apart. Like, at that point, and I'm not proud that I did it, but I like went up to my sister and I was like, yo, if you make it so that this family gets torn apart, I'm gonna kill you. And I had to like scare her into like recanting, like deciding to not call my mom for child abuse. So maybe that wasn't the right case because my mom was abusing us. But still, I couldn't do nothing, and that was their thing. They were like, "Yeah, just don't worry, God's gonna take care of it. God's gonna take care of it."
The whole time, I remember they used to tell us that all the time, and I'm like, not sure. I remember you approached me with the situation, and I'm like, bro. Sometimes you can't leave everything to God's hands. You just sometimes God wants you
to
act. Yeah. Why would God want you to be inhuman, be nothing? He should want you to be stronger and be something. Be the person to rescue your family. That's the power. But in their eyes, they were like, no. Do nothing. He'll take care of it. Sometimes you gotta be the man to take care of your own situations.
And that was the thing. And then I started like blaming God for it, you know? Like, I was like, yo, so this is what you're about? You watch us and you watch bad things happen to us and you do nothing? That's what you are, God? And I just had this resentment towards him, and this like, not hatred, but just like I was disappointed. I was disappointed by like, I felt like he didn't fit the bill, you know?
You expected more.
I expected more.
Like you paid your dues in worshiping him and like, stuff.
If I'm going to do what you ask of me, and I can't count on you to do me a solid when I ask of it, then you're no different than my parents, you know? And in my head, I was like, I came to you because I thought, you know, like, I thought you were going to be there, you know? And that was just weird for me. Like, I was really angry at that time. And you remember that, like, when Josh stopped going before me.
Yeah, I realized the hypocrisy a long time. And I'm like, I'm just going to not go anymore.
Yeah. And when Josh stopped going, I actually distanced myself from Josh. How do I phrase it? Your family said I should, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember.
Yeah. No,
I remember.
You know all these things. You know these things.
Yeah, I know my family.
Yeah. They were like, oh, well, you know, like, he's going to prevent you from being on your spiritual journey, and you don't want that, blah, blah.
I just wanted to show you the new Silver Sun Pickups album. That was literally the only thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a good album.
It was. That was
Neck of the Woods.
Neck of the Woods. That's right.
Such a great album.
I know.
And it was the BRONX Rebellion's, I think it was Promises.
Uh-huh.
Was it Promises?
No. This was before that. This was during No. Yeah.
It was Promises.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember Steven at the time. I'm not even gonna call him Mirrors. This is a little,
I don't deserve
You're
it.
an a-hole for this. Steven, little Dick Steven at the time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Never little Dick Steven.
Bought tickets with me to go see our favorite band in Brooklyn, the BOCHINCHE Rebellion. A band that him and I loved dearly. And then he was like, you know what, man? You can take my ticket. I'm not gonna go. I don't think God's gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it
was secular music.
Yeah.
And like, the thing, you know what bothers me is that they listen to secular music now.
Yeah, they do.
But back then they were like making me feel bad about it.
Uh-huh.
No, they're like, no, if you really want to commit to God, you have to let go of those things. You have to let go and let God.
Yeah. And I'm like, but it's just the BOCHINCHE Rebellion.
Bro, no, but
it's not like they were talking about sinning.
I felt like, I don't know. Maybe
I know you felt like
in order.
I felt like in order for you to think your relationship with Destiny was gonna work, and then with the religion thing to work at the same time to be on everyone's good side, it was to give up your entire past, give up that entire thing. Everything that represented sin, everything that represented the world, which is what people use in the Christian language. The world is
evil. Code for evil.
Yeah, which is like
for carnal pleasure.
Like if you listen to Jay-Z, 444, that's the world. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, he needed to let go of the world, and the way he did that was just letting go of everything he ever listened to, everything he ever loved, all the songs he ever learned from Coheed and Cambria.
I wasn't into Coheed and Cambria at the time. Yeah,
you loved Coheed and Cambria beforehand.
Oh,
but you learned every single song.
Yeah, you knew you're speaking facts.
Yeah, and he let go of everything. The BOCHINCHE Rebellion tickets. I mean, I went with Daphne. We had a good time. We had front row.
And I'm glad. No, and I'm
shows.
glad. I'm glad.
I mean, I wish you were there too.
It brought you guys closer.
Yeah, it was our first show together, but I still wish you were there because
it was my favorite band.
You knew the songs more.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a great time, and she thanked you for the tickets.
Yeah, she did.
But at the same time, I'm like, maybe we could have bought a third ticket. They
weren't that expensive at the time.
Yeah, they were like $15. Yeah, it's an indie band. But yeah, I remember him giving up the entire world just to make a relationship work with God and the girlfriend at the time.
Your cousin. Be nice.
Nah.
She stole your best friend from me.
She stole a lot of things from me. She was very mean.
Nah.
We're not that close.
She was kind of mean.
We're not that close. Corey and I are very close.
Nah,
she's on another level.
It's not even. I wouldn't say she was mean. I will say she was demanding.
Yeah.
Like, she was very demanding of me. Like, on some... Like, you would have thought I was, like, a 30-year-old man of faith. We was, like, in the room reading Bible verses together and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, not even making out that much.
Just like a slight little tap in the mouth. Just okay. Good night. Good night, love.
Yeah, and this is like when I'm like 18 and shit.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know. It was alright. I didn't mind it. It was just like I said, the family thing.
Yeah,
that's what really like changed everything for me. Cause like I said, my family and I have always had like a weird relationship. But that's still my family, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of those, like, regardless of what we're going through, if you need me, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt at that time. Like, we were going through some shit, but that's my family. And for you guys to just say, hey, if God wants you guys, if God wants your siblings and you to be in the foster system for a while, then that's God's plan. And I like thought about it and gave it careful consideration, and I came to the conclusion that fuck God's plan.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, no, you can't. That's my family.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I remember you coming to me and telling me the whole situation.
I came to you, and you were like, yo, that's wild. Like, nah, man, that's wild.
Seriously.
And we hung out that weekend.
Mm-hmm. And we listened to the new Silver Sun Pickles album. And you were like, I love this album. Why did I let go? Why did I let go? And then that's the whole... we listened to that album the entire weekend. Yeah. From first to last.
Yeah, that's when we helped your dad move out.
Yeah. When we helped my dad move out from his apartment.
Yeah,
from the Poconos apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the whole drive we were listening to
yeah. And we would try to like tell the guys and everybody like, hey, this is a good song, right? And they didn't give a shit about us. They were like, ew, what is this? Not Lil Wayne.
This ain't about God.
But yeah, I remember that whole weekend we spent in the woods helping my dad move, listening to Silver Sun Pickups and the Box Rebellion, and it came back. Everything came back. It was like, you know what? I like who I am.
And and after that, I kept going, like, with my depression issues and that. And it would take a couple more years for me to like figure out why I felt the way I felt truly. Mm-hmm. But I think religion was for me more a bandage than the stitches that I needed.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were just trying to cover the problem instead of, like, actually... Fixing what was the core of the reason why I felt that way.
Yeah. So they were kind of like a mask to put on from your depression. Yeah. Rather than dealing with your actual depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is never a good thing. You never want to pretend you're not sad. You want to deal with your sadness.
And then, like, it almost felt like I couldn't talk to them about my sadness because, like, why do you have to be sad if you're walking with God, you know?
Yeah, I've gotten that all the time. I get it with my grandpa. Yeah. Like, last week, I had a really bad cold. I had an actual lung infection. Almost got what was that called? When you cough a lot? Bronchitis. Yeah. Almost got that. And I was telling my grandpa, I was like, I'm sick. And he's like, you're not sick. You can't declare your sickness. You're not sick in the eyes of God. And I'm like,
but in the eyes of the hospital.
Yeah, but in the eyes of the medical professional guy who diagnosed me, he said that I'm sick and I need pills. And I was genuinely sick. I was like really sick. But the thing is, that's how religion treats it. It's like the more hardcore you are in religion, the more you think that God's going to save all your problems.
That you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything, that he's going to solve everything for you. And the thing is, that's not how religion's supposed to work. Religion's supposed to be this gateway for you, these guidelines, these guidelines for you to kind of like follow, but not take so literally.
For you to then go on your own and figure it out.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
That's why I think too. That's why I don't ever like push religion away, because religion is supposed to be guidelines to how to live your life, not how to live God's life, how to live your life. The 10 Commandments, the what the apostles had to go through, Jesus himself sacrificing his life for all of our sins. That's not literally, all right, well, I have to be, I can't commit a sin, I can't have sex, I can't jerk off. No, it's follow these guidelines in your own way.
And I think truly that as long as you're being a moral person.
Exactly.
As long as you're being a kind person, like the type of people we aspire to be in our day-to-day lives, I can't see and that's another thing that like killed. I remember this one time there was like guest pastor, and she was talking about how Oprah was gonna go to hell. I swear to you, bro. Like, she was talking about how Oprah hasn't announced God as her Lord and Savior, and for that reason, she's going to hell. She's like, you can pretend to be as good a person you are, but if God is not in your heart, then you are not a truly good person. And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
It's kind of like,
because if you're literally a giving, kind, warm person, then you are a good person.
So you telling me that I can move mountains, but as long as I don't have God in my heart, I'm not doing any good.
Yeah. And so this person telling me, and I like that a lot. Like, she was awesome. I don't know if you remember her. I can't remember her name. We'll talk about it off air. Yeah. Like the older woman. The darker
Milagros?
Skin. Yes.
There you go. Yes. I remember her name.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about her like a few days ago.
She was always really nice to me.
Yeah, she loved you. She didn't really like me, but she loved you.
Yeah, no. I don't know why.
I don't know.
But she was like super particular with me.
She was like, you are her son. Yeah. But to me, I was just a bastard child.
No, but she literally called me her son. Like,
yeah.
Actually. I don't know.
No, she didn't really like me though. I used to listen to music and she was like, work. Stop listening to music. So you were like, hey, my son.
Do you want to listen to music?
Yeah, I'm like, God damn it. What am I doing wrong that Steven's doing right?
Oh, no, but she just saw the pain in my eyes.
Yeah, I see.
I'm a sad boy.
You needed it, I guess, more than I did.
But even with her kindness, even her, like, that's the thing that I always found just really confusing to me. Because, like, she was so kind-hearted, but then she could say something that was so, to me, nonsensical. To me, to say that you can be a good person, but if you don't subscribe to a certain ideology, you're going to hell for the rest of your life.
What's that verse from that one song? I speak in many tongues to many men. I argue with angels and I always win. But I don't know if. But I don't.
I speak in
many tongues with many men. Argue
but I don't know the first things about love. Yeah.
But I don't know the first thing about love. It's thrice. Moving mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
that.
That's what religion is. To me.
Yeah, religion is that's you and I have come to that conclusion that religion is you can be the best version of yourself, the best person ever, but if you don't confine in yourself God, Jesus himself, believe he's the Messiah, believe he's the Savior, then you're not going anywhere. You're not going to heaven. You can be Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
The nicest guy in the world. But if Tom Hanks doesn't believe in Jesus, he's going to hell.
And that to me, like,
which is crazy.
Like,
Tom Hanks is beautiful.
First of all, like I just said, I believe in God.
Yeah.
I don't believe that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that if there is a God who honestly says, hey, no matter how good a person you are, if you don't fucking worship me, you're going to hell.
Imagine he's like, that's a bully.
That's a bully. Yeah. Like you really
worship me or go to hell.
Worship me or die. And then after death, feel many deaths forever.
Yeah, seriously.
Or love me more than anybody ever. 'Cause that's another thing.
You have to put God.
The Bible will tell you that God is a very jealous God, and you're not allowed to put anyone in front of him. Like, I'm talking your firstborn son.
You can't even put your wife.
You don't love that nigga more than your firstborn son. You cannot love that nigga more than your firstborn son.
It's like if God and Jesus, I mean God and your son are standing on top of like these little pieces of lava rocks, and
you
like,
gotta save one. You
gotta save one of them. You just gotta save God.
You gotta let your son die, knowing that God can save himself. Apparently,
yeah, like he has magical powers, but you still gotta like die for his. More. Yeah,
and that to me was wild. What else to me was wild? Did you know that when you go to heaven, you don't know anybody?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, there's no part in the Bible that, or in any religious text ever, that says that when you get married or have kids after you die, they go with you to heaven. Like, doesn't say that in any part of the Bible. You don't know them. You're in paradise. Yeah. You start a new life in paradise.
New wife.
That's wild.
That reminds me of Louis C.K.
Then why is marriage and all that stuff so important on Earth?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't get it. Religion's very confusing.
It's a fickle thing.
Spirituality is something that I would urge people to
embrace.
To embrace. It feels good. It helps.
Yeah,
it helps people. It really does.
It clears your mind.
It's something that Josh and I.
Guidance.
It's not something that Josh and I would endorse if we haven't seen it work personally.
I feel like morally, I'm on the right track. I'm very good morally, and I absolutely believe that. I hold that towards religion, and I hold that towards how I grew up with my grandfather and stuff. Yeah. Like I have a good moral compass, which is why I stood away from going back to where my father did his thing. Yeah. Watching my father commit these sins, commit these crimes, and me not emulating any of those things ever in my life. And it's because I feel like because of what I grew up with my grandfather teaching me that, and spiritually how intact I was, I feel like I just morally just had a good compass. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. You do that, I see that as a wrong thing. Yeah. I'm just not gonna do that ever in my life.
I appreciate that. On the other hand, I didn't learn that way. Like, my family wasn't raised religiously. Yeah. I just learned in the sense that, like, my family was in and out of prison for cocaine sale. Like, so my aunt, two of my uncles, my father sold. And he did 4 years for some other shit, which I'll get into in the future. And that's how I learned. Like, I learned through people having their life stolen from them for a couple years. Through, like, the prison system and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to give 2 years of my life to someone for doing something stupid. So that's where my moral compass comes from
watching everyone's mistakes.
Watching people's mistakes and saying, no, that doesn't work. I've seen that not work. Yeah. So I've never sold a nickel or a dime. Not once. It's been I remember my sister and I, we were opening one of my grandma's drawers, and we opened up this little shelf, and there was like 8 balls of cocaine.
Nice.
And my sister and I were joking about like selling it. Yeah. And then we just put it back in the thing and just walked away. Yeah. Like we were like, no, We're not gonna do that. We played for a second, like we're gonna sell this to get money.
Think about the money we can get. Like, no, man, we can't do that. We're gonna go to jail.
And I was like 16 at the time.
Yeah,
I was like 12.
I remember my dad used to hide cocaine in these cans.
Yeah,
and I thought that was brilliant.
My dad used to hide cocaine in mailboxes.
That's brilliant too. Like, you know, those little like spray cans.
Yeah.
But in the bottom, they would twist, and you open it, there were like rocks in them.
You know,
and I'm like,
that's crack, bro.
Ingenious.
That's crack.
Yeah, crack cocaine.
Niggas do it in the not the gas tank, but the thing, the door.
Yeah, little cap, the little gas thingy. Yeah,
the gas cap. Yeah, the cocaine has been known to be hidden there.
I know. It's been known to be hidden underneath beds, inside bed springs, in closets. My dad had machine guns in his closets.
My dad.
That was fun to watch.
My dad.
I thought it was normal. I used to pick them up.
Yeah,
yeah.
My dad made me polish his pistol for the first time when I was 8 years old, and I was like afraid, and he could see that I was afraid, and his response to seeing that I was afraid to hold a pistol at the age of 8 was to yell at me and call me pussy. Push me to clean his pistol. But I cleaned the shit out of that.
That's nice. Shiny little black pistol.
Shine that motherfucker
up. My dad, I never was afraid of cleaning any gun. My dad would just show me a new gun, and I'm like, can I?
No, I was.
And he's like, hell yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I remember my dad had like this like M16 rifle. Yeah. I don't know how he got that right. That's very illegal. Yeah. Don't have that ever. But I remember, like, oh shit, and my dad would put sunglasses on me. And then I would hold it, and he was like, go to your uncle. Pointed at it. And I did that. And I'm thinking about it now, how traumatizing that is. Yeah. And, like, how I'm not afraid of a lot of things because of what I experienced as a child.
Don't raise your kids that way, ladies.
Don't ever raise your kids that way. They become I'm desensitized completely from violence, from hurt like that, from drugs or anything. Like, you show me that shit, I'm like, oh yeah, it's normal. It's not. It's bad. It's bad. I'm not gonna ever pick up a gun and shoot somebody with it. But if you give me a gun, I'm gonna know how to hold it. I'm gonna know how to shoot it.
You know, I now know. Like later on in life,
right?
Yeah, no, not just that, just not being an
idiot. You gotta be responsible, man. Yeah. You gotta be safe.
Just growing up, I was a really soft kid. That's something I'll get into in further episodes. Mm-hmm.
We are kind of running out of time here.
Yeah. Just if you could wrap this up with the religion part of it, if you could wrap it up with one sentence, a paragraph, maybe even. What would you say?
One sentence. I would say, don't get caught up in religion. Don't get caught up in a belief. Take all the good elements from it and leave all the nonsense behind. Yeah. And that's what I would say. Like, just gather all the positiveness from anything. Because I feel like everyone is good in this world. Everyone has the ability to be good, morally good, and live in peace.
To create or destroy.
Exactly. And just create, be beautiful people. Yeah. But once you start taking things in a literal sense, when you start taking sides, you start choosing and start fighting against certain things. Your religion's a big part of why wars still exist. If you don't see like the Palestinians and the Israelis fighting, that's a whole 500-year war, and it's just because of territory. And then the Christians fighting against the Muslims. That's the thing. That's because when you take something too literally, you end up believing that you're right and no one else is.
I will agree with you for sure. I will say that I'm not so strong on the don't follow religion thing. I think that if you can, and you just remind yourself that you are not perfect, and you have no reason to judge another human being because you follow a certain path of beliefs, then I think religion could work for you.
It
if
definitely
you feel like
can.
you need it. The problem lies in the superiority complex. The problem lies in that you start by worshiping God, you start thinking that you are God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that the things he can do extend to you. His perfection extends to you. You are not perfect. I've seen people, like hardcore sinners, judge people for sinning just because they go to church and for no other reason. And they're like, oh, well, I go to church, so I'm allowed to. No. And yeah, just go forth, my people, and try to be better people.
And from there on, we will end that topic and conclude
and
try to
get into some fun shit. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, we're gonna conclude.
Beer
with some beer of the fucking week.
Beer of the motherfucking week.
Not that beer of the week, but this beer of the week.
New Belgium Fat Tire.
Yep, New Belgium Fat Tire.
It's a Belgian white. It's a Belgian white.
It's our favorite type of beer. Is a Belgian white. Anything white. I'm sorry. No, not talking about white supremacy. We're talking about Belgian white beer.
Are the Belgians white supremacists?
New Belgium Fat Tire. I've never heard of this brand in
Are Belgians white supremacists though?
I don't think so. I mean, there was the Nazis, which lived pretty close to Belgium. Germany.
We shouldn't be drinking this.
No. It's good beer.
It is good beer though.
New Belgium Fat Tire. The symbol is of a bicycle.
It's a bike, yeah.
I believe it's an independent company.
It's a special release, Belgian white, so I'm not sure that it will be going on for very long. Check it out though. Fat Tire, man.
Yeah, Fat Tire. Thank you for providing us. Well, not providing us. Thank you for letting us buy your beer.
You ain't let us. You ain't fucking say we could or couldn't. We do whatever the fuck we want.
Well, we actually went in the store. We saw this, and I'm like, yo. Actually, we were going for another beer, and then Steven looked at this one, and I agreed.
Yeah.
So, it's a very beautiful beer.
Fat Tire. Our Belgian master brewers classic white wheat ale brewed with juicy Seville orange peel and freshly ground coriander.
Mm-hmm. Freshly ground coriander is a whole nother like crazy shit that you can put in beer. Orange peel is a very normal thing to put into a Belgian white. Blue Moon is a very popular beer that uses orange peels. They use a lot of orange peels, which is why their beer comes out very orangey, and also they just dump a giant ass orange slice in it. Yeah. But think of this beer as in the smoother, richer brother of a Blue Moon. If you like Blue Moon, you probably like this beer even more.
If you like Allagash White,
which a lot of people don't know about,
you like Fat Tire. I mean, but it was beer of the week.
It was beer of the week a couple times for us.
Yeah, so that's beer of the week every week. Truly,
yeah,
honestly, truly,
it really is.
So please, Fat Tire, check it out.
Check it out. It'll be a beer that I'll be picking up in the future. I'll let you know.
Oh, for sure.
It's inexpensive. It's like what, $11 for a 6?
It was $11.99.
Yeah, $11.99 for a 6. Allagash White is fucking $14 for 4. Don't do that to yourself, guy.
Get a Fat Tire.
Yeah, just get Fat Tires.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
All right. So we out here. We're rushing through shit. We talked about religion and Louis C.K. And the Knicks, but not on this. But we still talked about the Knicks for a long time. We rushing through it. We out here. SOTW Song of the Week. The Bronx Project.
That's right. We're gonna end with a beautiful song of the week.
Beautiful song of the week.
You go first as usual.
Yeah. You know my selection, right?
Yeah, of course I do. You literally is telling me that you're playing
it. So my song of the week is Plastic 100 Degrees Celsius by Sampha.
Sampha. Ooh, I love Sampha.
UK recording artist Something of a R&B funk soul.
He's an alternative R&B artist, the same category as a
Justin Vernon.
Best friend of Justin Vernon, James Blake. Yeah, James Blake, same category as a James Blake.
Yeah. You may know Sampha from Too Much
by
from
Drake. Yeah.
Don't think about it too much. There's no need for us to rush it through. Oh, don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Oh.
This is more than just a universe for you. Ooh, don't think about it. Done saying I'm done playing. Last time was on the outro.
New song of the week. Too Much by Drake. But yeah, I listened to that
Plastic,
album.
100 Degrees. It's off of the album Processed. Came out 2017, fairly new.
Yeah.
You also know Sampha from Drake's recent More Life album. Oh, fuck, what was the name of the song that he had there? 4422.
Yep. He's always on a Drake song. I mean, we've discovered him on a Drake song, which was Too Much.
Yeah. 4422. You build it up to break it halfway through.
Yeah, and you'll also see him in a lot of featured artists like Beyonce or her sister Solange. It was a big song that he did with Solange, which was a single. Sampha, I would say that he's top artist when it comes to that kind of category, like fusing the hip hop with the alternative R&B with that UK vibe. You know, UK vibe is real big right now, so jump on it. I guarantee you. But yeah, Process by Sampha, very good album. But that song,
Plastic,
100 Degrees Celsius, is a beautiful song.
Amazing.
Beautiful song.
It's so hot, I've been melting out here. I'm made out of plastic out here.
Yeah.
You've touched down in the base of my fears. Houston, can you hear me now?
And we both had to harness our fears, I think, is the next lyric. Both had to harness our fears.
And we both had to harness our fears. I don't know.
It's a good song, but that song, literally every song leads to the other song so perfectly. Sampha started out as a producer.
Yeah.
He started as a producer who wrote beats
for
rappers. But nobody wanted to rap on his albums or his songs. So he started just singing. You know, as a piano genius, you kind of have this melody.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to just try to sing. He didn't think his voice was particularly good, but he thought it worked. And then Drake picked up on his music and featured him on Too Much, and then that's how you got big. But yeah, don't sleep on Sampha.
Truthfully,
he's gonna be the biggest thing soon.
Truthfully, I don't think he has the best singing voice. I just think it's like haunting.
Yeah.
In the right way. Like his voice isn't like sonically appealing as much as it is like hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he sings, you know it's Sampha.
Yeah.
That's what I love about his voice, is that when you hear him, it's like, oh, that's Sampha, right?
Yeah.
That's Sampha. You can't confuse it. And his voice always goes with his music so well. And I mean, I would love to hear him on like a Bon Iver track, or even do like a project with Frank Ocean or James Blake. I think that would be a beautiful combination, because they're all in that kind of like mix. I want to see that.
I would love to see that. I would love for them to have a joint project
one day. I know that James Blake is doing a project with Frank Ocean.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's writing music together. I mean, Frank Ocean, Frank Ocean's everywhere.
Frank Ocean's mine. What's your SOTW?
Yeah, my song of the week is "Problems" by Black. He's an artist based out of Philly. He has I think his music.
He
like,
said,
yeah,
"You a goddamn lie." I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I'm goddamn high.
Yeah, he's based out of Philly. He works with.
Listen to my problems. Got my dick in your mouth and she sucking it out. I don't know.
Don't do that. You're gonna ruin our fans.
They love this shit.
But yeah, it's spelled. His name is spelled 6LACK. Don't confuse it with Slack.
Yeah.
His name is just literally Black. His real name is.
That's what I call him. Like, all jokes aside, I call him Slack.
Me too. That's how I remember him. His real name is Ricardo Valentine. What's that hip hop group from Atlanta? Mafia? 808 Mafia? Yeah, he makes music with 808 Mafia, which is why that kind of like that vibe you hear, especially like that Big Sean vibe from this latest track.
Yeah.
It's that same type of vibe. But yeah, the song is called "Problems" by Black. I think out of rappers or R&B alternative singers, he has like probably one of the best flows that you can find around.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, like his flow is even in one of his songs, he's like, this flow is crazy. He knows it. He knows
like
that
if you're saying it mid song. If mid song, you gotta stop to be like, yo.
It's the thing is, he's not even stopping to say this flow is crazy. He's saying this flow is crazy in the flow. I have to give it up to him. I'm like, my man, you right. You're right. You
this
got
flow
talent.
Is crazy.
Your flow is crazy. But yeah, it's a song that I love to listen to while I'm like really in my groove. Like, I dim my lights in my room and I'm like laying in bed and I put on my headphones and just
Love it.
Jam into it.
Love it.
Jam into it. And it also goes really well with my new car because my car is also black. So playing Black in my black car is a trip.
Do you slack in your black car?
I always slack in my black car.
I respect that.
Yeah. This flow is crazy.
Well, this has been a wild podcast.
Wild.
We talked about Louis C.K.
Mm-hmm.
and truly, like, I cannot overstate how fucking gut wrenching that is for people like myself and like Josh, who damn near, like, I don't know if I would say idolize. That might be a little too much, but damn near.
I admired him. Daphne and I will look so forward to his comedy specials.
Yeah,
it was just something that we loved.
No. Like, he made me want to, like, I always want, like, I don't know how to phrase it. Being funny is something that I've always prided myself on. And I always knew that I wanted to do things that highlighted my comedic genius. And it wasn't up until watching, and I watched people like Chris Rock, and I'm saying, like, and I think Chris Rock's a great, and I think Dave Chappelle's a great, but they never really made me want to do it. You know?
Yeah. Dave Chappelle, like I said, Dave Chappelle is like one of my favorite comedians too.
Louis C.K. made me want to be a comedian.
Louis C.K. made me want to explore comedy in more than just a stand-up version. It's to explore the art of it.
And to see that, it's just gut-wrenching. It's disappointing. And just please, I hope, and listen, it's happening. We've reached the breaking point. Women are tired of our shit. Mm-hmm. They're not putting up with it no more.
Not only women, men too.
Men tired of other men's shit.
Exactly.
I'm tired of y'all shit.
Exactly.
And it's not gonna happen anymore. I advise you, I urge the rest of you men who have not seen the light, join us in the 21st century where we treat people with respect and we judge people based on their merits. Mm-hmm. Because if not, you can continue to be a sick, depraved asshole And you know what? It may work for you for 5 years, for 10 years, maybe 15.
Oh, it's gonna come back.
But ask Louis, ask Bill Cosby, ask
ask
Harvey Weinstein,
ask Kevin Spacey.
It's gonna come back.
It's gonna come back,
and we're gonna be there to talk about it.
And there's no excuse. You're just gonna have to own up to it.
And by then it'll be too late.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Bronx Project Podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.